I think that if I start in the very early period, which is to do with idea of kind of carving or collision or overlap, and then I think that also the later period we're looking at a lot of topography and landscape, and obviously one associates kind of fluidity, because the ultimate ambition was to kind of create a fluid world in every sense, in the sense that there is no boundary between inside and there is no boundary for people to move from one space to the other, and I think if that was generally kind of a ground condition, and also that within the space itself you have, the space flows from one, like if you go to a public building, the space flows from the street to the interior to the desk to the, I don't know, whether there's a gallery or a shop or whatever. So I think that the idea to achieve fluidity, and not literally trying to imitate nature, but we are inspired by these natural phenomena. And I think now through computing, it is easier to achieve that level of complexity and fluidity at the same time. I think you can create the shapes without the technology, but I think the technology managed to refine them, and allows you to have much more variety and incredible richness. Analog drawing, I think you can do it, but would not be so refined, And it's the same thing when you take a piece which has been like done by hand. It has, in some cases, if it has a mistake, it's nice, but if it has a mistake, it might not work. But with the technologies, it allows you to kind of perfect the way these things are made. Architects are very fashionable. A lot of people are studying it, but also there's a respect for the architect in the sense that not to change the world. We haven't got there yet, but there is a respect and they can make actually interesting building. Not everything architects do is bad. They can help in the environment. So I think that changed a lot in 20 years. It's amazing. Well, I think we've always been interested in the void and the carve, space which are carved out from a solid mass or carved out from a building. So they don't have the same ratio, but they have equal importance. I mean, if I'm talking about carving out a big space within a building to make it a public domain, they are very important. Marseille is a tower for a very big shipping company on the port. It's when the motorway bifurcates, and so this comes out, and we out of this kind of bifurcation, it's like a wave. But of course, we have looked for many years on how to kind of make a connection on the between a tower and a way it lands on the ground. So in this case, it kind of goes, it flares out at the bottom. I still feel very strongly that I'm an Arab. I of course like Iraq because I was, born and lived there, and I was brought up in Iraq, which was very liberal, which believed in kind of really progress and an idea of a new state. But it was a very different kind of world in that time, Yeah, I think that what is nice about the Arab world is there's a tremendous generosity. People are extremely generous in every way. They, not because they're simple, but because I think the idea is to kind of really host other people. The culture, the music, the food, all of these things, are really quite interesting, and they stay with you, all that stuff.